can parents access activities and respond through the student accounts, especially for like the very young children?
I would certainly keep those separate. And if you're looking at the parent accounts and you're wanting to set those up, I think that would be worth doing then, having messages come through a student's account there where the teacher's not necessarily sure of what's happening there. So I would imagine you've probably got some other communication aspects at home as well that might be worth exploring first before you sign up to all those parent accounts. But yes, it is beautifully made for parents. There are some really nice features in regard to communicating, and there is actually a parent app, a Seesaw parent app, that is separate from the way students log in. And I think that would be worth exploring, probably after you've explored your initial communication way that you're normally communicating with parents as well. With parents as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Naomi said about things that you're creating in things like Word. Yeah, really easy to export Word documents as PDFs or taking a screenshot, doing those different things. Super easy to do that. Talk to your colleagues, get online, because there's lots of things that we can help with that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, totally. Announcement order looks like it just comes in newest first. You can't actually reorganize which order your announcements go in?
No. No, you probably want to do your announcements, schedule your tasks, and then probably do your announcements as you want to make them instead of scheduling, because you might have work coming in later on that goes against the announcement, or kind of a bit of a conflict between the two. So I've always done announcements at the start of the day and at the end of the day, knowing that I don't want to do it late at night or early in the morning, because that's the first thing they see is those announcements in the inbox. So make them during school hours, but by all means assign tasks when you would like them going out during the day.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you covered this. Can you explain what the repost feature actually does compared to accept?
Repost.
The repost feature. I'm just trying to understand that question a bit better. Maybe Jeff, if you can clarify that for us, that would be good.
Yeah, I think I know what he meant. I'm just jumping in quickly now.
Okay.
Was he thinking with announcements or with activities, I wonder, Mike?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'm just waiting to see if he puts back in. I'll come back to you if that's the case.
Let me just check.
Well, here's one from Daniel while that's happening. Oh, Jeff, send back, sorry, not repost. So I think Daniel had the same sort of question. He tried using the send back function for when a student's work was not up to scratch, but they didn't receive a notification that he had done this. Is there a way they can receive a notification? And then I guess if you layer that in with Jeff's question about sending things back rather.
Yeah. So if you find that those settings, there's nothing in the settings that says that should not work. I've always done little comments in the comment section, because I think then you can send kind of announcements throughout the day that says, hey, don't forget to check your feedback that the teacher's actually giving to you. I also understand that you might not want to be doing that for 26 kids as well. But I would definitely encourage you to write just really quick comments, even if you've got a comment bank on the side and you're cut and pasting a little bit, that actually those comments you can actually see those comments populating in my inbox as a student, if that makes sense. So I'd definitely be using the comment feature probably more than the send back personally.
Yeah, okay. Should specialist teachers set up their own accounts or be part of a class teacher account?
Say that again, Mike.
If you're a specialist teacher, so for you, for instance, when you were teaching in your school, did you set up your own account, or were you just part of the class, like the teacher's account for each class?
Really good question. I always encouraged my specialist teachers to have their own accounts. Now, that does mean that they have to log out and they have to have another QR code. But what it means is that that classroom teacher that's probably doing 80, 90% of the work and the communication with that student is probably going to have and build that relationship with the one teacher, which I think is a real benefit of Seesaw, not a whole pile of teachers that are inundating and not aware of what's happening with the other person. I always think it's good to say, okay, I might actually have a timetable at home where I'm actually logging into my art specialist and kind of log in and actually attend that work. But most of the time, I think the classroom teachers, because they're dealing with most of the subject areas, I think that classroom teacher works well when it's just a defined class for them and a separate one for the specialist teachers, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then Jeff saying he writes a comment and then press accept, but the student doesn't see it. Do you think that's like something set up in the notifications at the student end that's maybe got notifications turned off or something?
Yeah, the student should receive notifications for that. I'm just in Seesaw at the moment and I've just got a little bit of time that it's taking to load up. So it's just taking a little while. The notification should sit in the inbox on the right-hand side there. But yes, you can, if you go up to the spanner in the class settings, you can turn, if you remember when I got set up at the start, I turned everything off because I just didn't want all of those pings to happen and the emails coming through. But you can turn on those notifications and the permissions a little bit more specifically than I've actually shown you. So I'd encourage you on the right-hand side of your class just to go up to your classroom settings and just have a look what you initially have actually got at the moment all set up.
Yeah, that's good. I think you've covered off all the questions that have come in during that last session. So that was really good.
I think one of the things, Mike, I always do is I learn a lot from the community section. There are so many very wise teachers that have scaffolded tasks so beautifully and simply using visuals. You know, don't reinvent the wheel, but at the same time, just spend that little bit of time. We don't want other teachers' voice. If you can spend a bit of time adding your voice to that activity going forward.
Yeah, totally. That's good advice.
Mustafa just said, how do we see our folders? In the teacher, when you're in your teacher account, you'll see your folders on the side. You should be able to see your folders actually lined up. There's a little folder icon next to, underneath the inbox, underneath the class journal, underneath the inbox icon, there's a little folder and you just press that and you can see the art, reading and writing folder that you've got there.
Right. I'm just going to put a link right up the top while you're just chatting, Paul, with just a link out to the Seesaw course that you just completed.
Yep.
So if anyone's interested in grabbing that course, it's going to be nice and cheap and cheerful. I think $49. It's going to dig deep into a lot of these things plus extend you out. So I'll just drop that up the top and make it a sticky post, and you can keep going.
And down the bottom, guys, I've just posted a link to the Seesaw help page with all of those text shortcuts for those little icons that we did going forward. So I've just put that. Hopefully it's come through. It does take a minute or two to come through, but I've always found that those little text shortcuts where it puts a camera instead of writing the word camera is a great connection for the kids to make, to say that's the icon I'm looking for to create that piece of work. So I'd encourage you to have a look at those little text icons going forward.
That's a great tip. Excellent.
Just looking through.
Yeah.
Can students have access to more than one class? Absolutely. You will have noticed that little QR code for every class that you create. There'll be a little QR code. And so I would not rush these things out. I'd really think about, right, I'm going to have an art one. I might have a classroom one and one other one. Get it all on a sheet, email it to parents so they can put it on the fridge and the kids will come up and actually scan it and they'll be off and running. The clearer you can get it from the start, the less of those little niggly problems you're going to have later on.
Yeah, good advice.
And that's why I said probably communication to your parents where you currently talk to your parents, whether that's through a LMS system or email system or whatever, just explaining what's about to happen is probably the first step before you slam your kids with all these tasks and all these different things saying, what do I do? take it slowly, step by step, and I think we're going to have better success for that. Can we print Seesaw? So you can print individual. If you go to the, let me just have a look here. When I've opened students' work, near the comment and the like and the folder, there are 3 dots. And when I click on the 3 dots, it allows me to edit, share that item, delete item, or print. So you can actually print individual items, especially if you think you need some kind of anecdotal evidence of things like that. But I'd encourage you to set up some folders as well, because often digitally is good to actually have and keep them all in the same spot as well. But definitely at the bottom of the student's work, when it starts to come in, 3 little dots, you'll see a print icon, and you can also save that as well. So if it's a certain file type, for example, a drawing, if I click on save, it goes to my downloads as a JPEG file. So I've got a little kind of digital snapshot or overview of the person's work itself. And Melissa's answered my question as I've gone through it as well. So thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it.
There's a question that just came in right up the top from Lisa, if you want to scroll up and have a look at that one.
Can students still add their voice recording? Yeah, so that's probably what I demonstrated really poorly at the start, Lisa. I would put all of my voice recordings in the instructional part at the top and not in the response templates at the bottom. It seems to really mess with that a little bit. And for me personally, you know, we don't want our kids getting frustrated with saying, how do I access the annotation tools and the things like that? So please put your audio recordings definitely there, more than actually in the activity itself. It seems to play a little bit with that response template, depending on the student's device that they access it with.
Yeah, good. Excellent.